it's Kayla here, and welcome to Lunchtime LaunchPad. I'm here with Marinela Gombosev, and we're going to discuss the 10 reasons why startups fail. Marinela, why don't you explain, talk about your background and the things you like to?
I always like to say I'm an engineer by background, but I think like a business person. I got my undergrad here at UCI, electrical engineering.
Yes.
As of about a year and a half ago, I've been with Evoke Neuroscience, which is another medical device company. This is up on the web. Anybody can look it up. 10 reasons startups fail. And then I added, ways to avoid them. So 10, lose focus. Staying focused is really, really hard, especially for entrepreneurs, because they tend to be creative and have lots of ideas. And what's your completion rate? You might start a million things and be excited about this and that, but what are you getting done? And are you getting the things that you start finished? Number 9 is ignoring your customers. What I would say is always validate what you believe your customers think of you and your product, and try to do that independently. If your ideal target customer is not buying your product, they're not your customer.
Yeah, you got to pivot in that sense.
8 is poor marketing. You may not have a full appreciation for the depth and breadth of the requirements of marketing a product. There's a lot of noise out there, so it's really hard to get the customers' attention. Be aware of your own capabilities and then supplement them with other skill sets. 7 is lack of a business model. What does the business model really mean? Part of all of your operations of the business is how are you going to make profits at the end of the day? And then, who are your stakeholders and how are they impacted by your business? 6 is having a poor product. Poor product to me may not mean just purely like, hey, this didn't work or this didn't meet my expectations, but it's the whole experience of how did you buy it, how quickly did you receive it, were you able to provide feedback that was heard? So all of these things impact a customer's experience with the product or service that they're buying. So 5 is pricing and cost issues. Pricing is can be very tricky, especially if you have competitors. You have to look at whether your product deserves to have a higher price. Do you have features that justify it, and then a customer is willing to pay for it?
Yeah.
I would say start higher if you can, and then lower.
Okay, and it's in relation to the competitors. That's a good point. Number 4, right? We're almost there.
All right, got out-competed. So getting out-competed is, I think, about knowing your competitive landscape. You have to look at very critically at where your product fits into the market. So if you have an identical product or service to somebody else, how are you going to attract that customer? What makes you different? Running out of cash is a big one, number 3. It's very abrupt. When you run out of cash, it's you're done. Lights out. So unless you can raise more money or get an influx of cash. It can happen to very big businesses too. You want to manage your growth, you want to plan your cash spending. This is where you want to have somebody on board who knows how to forecast cash flows and always be conservative with that. So
That's good. Good point.
all right, number 2, wrong team. So I always love to say this includes you as the CEO. You may be a fabulous inventor, or you may be a fabulous way to attract customers, or you may have a fabulous product, but you may not be the best person to run the business.
Yeah.
And again, it's knowing what you're skilled at and what you should bring in from the outside.
Number 1 reason.
No market need. Think about how many times you hear about this great product or this great idea, and it may be a great idea, but you know what? At the end of the day, if it's not selling, nobody wants it. You're more likely to succeed by having a solution to an existing product, assuming people are willing to pay for it, than finding a technology or product that could solve a problem. Everybody's got their own path, and don't feel like you have to fit whatever expectation you put on yourself. Do what you do well, first of all, because you're a student, you want to do well in that. Then take on other things, because I've also talked to a lot of people who spread themselves too thin, and they're in this and they're in that and this, and then they don't do what they're supposed to do well.
That was 10 ways why startups fail. See you next time.